Sweet Baby Ink is still around for some reason, but not hanging from a tree branch, which is deeply saddening.
Hey, what's up, guys? Over here. So today we're going to be once again talking about Sweet Baby Ink because little did we all know, about 3 weeks ago, an absolute gem was uploaded to YouTube. Now, I'm sure you're already aware of this video because it's uploaded.
Black Girl Gamers. Man, if this does not have the highest audience in existence, I don't know what to say. I am deeply shocked and very disgusted by the world.
By your favorite YouTube channel, Black Girl Gamers, but they released this absolute banger 3 weeks ago titled Breaking Down the Gamergate, the Toxic Side of Gaming Culture. And as you can see, it's being very well received at the moment, and there's also a very strange glitch with the comment section where you can only see one visible comment, and it just so happens to be positive. I hope they fix that. It's definitely a glitch on YouTube's end. But anyways, this video is a dumpster fire. You can see it's got the terrific trio here. You got some familiar faces to this channel. You got JN Lopez, the CEO of Black Girl Gamers. Then you have Ash Parrish, who is a games journalist at The Verge. And of course...
Dude, these names aren't real, by the way. Ash Parrish. What? How do you get there?
Kim Belair, who is the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. Now, this is like the woke Powerpuff Girls, but instead of Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup, you got D, E, and I. But in this video...
That's a good joke, 10 out of 10, not gonna lie.
Here, there's a lot of...
I wish I could have made it.
Interesting sections. They definitely acknowledge that they are getting a ton of backlash from gamers, and they also somewhat acknowledge that it's really hurt their reputation.
Very misguided, racist, misogynistic backlash from evil men that are gamers. That's what they're getting. So sad.
As a company, but in response to all that, what do? Well, they double down on everything. And they have this self-righteous...
I mean, why wouldn't you? There's probably a governmental program that literally subsidizes them because reasons, I guess.
Smug attitude where they think they are holier than thou.
Listen, I'm not saying that that's most likely what's happening, but considering you can major in African tribal culture dances, you know, there's options. There's definitely possibilities.
That they know exactly what real gamers want, and they just mock all of the criticism that they've been receiving for months on end. So let's watch a few clips from this video.
Dude, this is gonna be like the Simpsons thing with Skinner, and he's like, "Am I out of touch? No." Oh boy.
Kim,
Bro, they couldn't even do a proper layout. What the hell is this? How hard can it be to just make 3 boxes, diagonal boxes, just look normal? Instead they do... How? Also, they have their pronouns. She, her, she, her, she, her. That's kind of bigoted. At least one of them should be he, him. What the hell is this? Dude, this is pretty insensitive.
I know, obviously, with the company and the good work that you've done, your organization and yourself were huge targets in this phenomenon. Tell us about your experience as well.
I like how she can't even contain herself to say yes. She can't even finish the sentence because she's already, oh my god, it's my time to be a victim.
Yeah, I would say I think of us almost in as like patient zero of this wave of Gamergate.
Need to be special. Nice.
In that I think...
she's also gonna... At this rate, she's also gonna be claiming that this is the first time ever. No one has ever done this before. And man, it's just gonna get wilder. I absolutely love how anything that happens, good or bad, needs to be the first thing ever. You know, how Captain Marvel has been the first female superhero ever, that she has been the first female action star ever, and stuff like that. It's just all about just gaining some kind of claim to being the bestest ever, even though it's a blatant lie. But they, in their minds, just construe it so much. Listen, the craziest part about these people is they're not lying in their minds. In their minds, this is truthful, factual, and all of that good stuff.
When I think of it as where it started. It was kind of the week that we had announced that we were on both Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2, which are two, I think,
Sad.
popular games among the game community.
That's how you get the Spider-Man I'm deaf sequence.
And players in general. And immediately, I think the targeting began with this kind of like, we found this secret, sinister website from Sweet Baby Inc. Meanwhile, we're on Twitter like, I've been so excited to let people know that we worked on these two really great games.
So to start off, Kim makes this impression that Sweet Baby is just this wholesome Chungus company who just wants to exist on the internet and spread joy, which, by the way, no one's even seeing because all of their accounts are in hiding, and they've been like this even before the criticism of Sweet Baby really ramped up in February. They were already private before all of that happened. But a lot of people focus on the social media activities of Sweet Baby Inc. because their employees are psychopaths. You have Chris Kindred, who started this whole thing because of their...
Dude, my favorite part about these woke mobs is the fact that they are psychopaths and they don't even honestly understand it.
...attempt to incite a harassment campaign and a false...
But how can you be the bad guy if you are the good guy?
...report campaign against Cabrutus for starting Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. That's what drew a lot of attention to these social media accounts.
Dude, if there's one thing that describes this perfectly, it's just the fact that the road to hell is paved by good intentions. These people legitimately do believe that they are doing good and whatnot. Just, it's the fact that their definition of good is completely twisted and evil.
Of these Sweet Baby employees. And also people like this who work at Sweet Baby who say some very out-of-pocket stuff, especially concerning when this is a company that focuses on inclusion and being wholesome chungus to each other. And this is the type of stuff they're saying on their own social media.
Had a nightmare that was a male gamer. Same, and it was awesome.
Accounts. It's crazy. But she also mentions Alan Wake 2. So this is a game that a lot of Sweet Baby defenders always point to. When people criticize Sweet Baby and the fact that a lot of companies they work with end up failing, they point to Alan Wake 2 and they say, hey, that was a big success. Thanks to, in part...
Alan Wake 2 is... well, it is a success, I guess, to a degree, but you can see a lot of folk in it. And Alan Wake 3 is probably not gonna cut it.
...by Sweet Baby Inc. And it's very prominent on Sweet Baby Inc.'s their own website. It's always prominently displayed. It's in the bios of their various social media accounts. They are very proud of Alan Wake 2. And it was a game that had the direct involvement of Kim Belair. And eventually, when the tide started to turn in February and March, the team over at Alan Wake 2 tried to disavow any involvement from Sweet Baby, which, of course, it was too little too late. People already found the receipts of them interacting and collaborating with Sweet Baby, and in particular, the CEO herself. And as I was discussing earlier, people have pointed to Alan Wake 2 not only as a high-quality game that Sweet Baby Inc. was a part of, but also as a financial success. But recently we learned that Alan Wake 2 hasn't even generated a profit for the studio who made it. They haven't even made a...
Yeah, we heard about it, but I think it still counts as a financial success because they did some kind of magic things.
...single cent. They have not made enough sales yet to pay back Epic Games and their investment into Alan Wake 2. So they haven't even made a dime, despite selling over 1 million copies. This was reported in February, where they proudly displayed or shared to the public that they've sold over 1 million copies. However, since February, they have not shared any information. Of course, February being the time where people started to discover Sweet Baby Inc. and the projects they're a part of, including Alan Wake 2. And I think it is plausible that that discovery, the connection between these two, started to hurt their sales, and now they're really struggling and they don't have anything to celebrate anymore. But anyways, there's another story here. Recently, I guess the frustrations have been boiling over where the...
It's the classic. Dude, I love this playbook so much. It's always the exact same thing. Alan Wake 2 failed. Game's senior community manager calls for bigots to be removed from the gaming community. The people who did not buy your game because they're bigots, they should also be removed from the gaming community because they didn't buy your game. Like, how does that logic even track, okay? Listen, The people who didn't buy our game need to be removed. But they... I can't.
Game's senior community manager.
Also, you can tell she doesn't even own a single animal, let alone an actual goddamn relationship.
Is calling
Her Tinder profile says high maintenance.
people bigots now, and that's a whole nother story for another day, but let's continue on with the video.
As a company, we worked on over 80 games together, so there was plenty of
Sad.
fodder for people to start going, oh, is this the reason that all of these games are now woke, that they have people of color
Probably, yeah, because well, that's kind of your job. That's what you do.
in them, or queer people, or any marginalized identities at all, or even sometimes that they perceive like, oh, this woman's design is not quite as it used to be, and I think it used to be hotter. So there's a lot of
It used to be hotter, yeah, that's probably true.
stuff that's been put on us, both things that we did work on, things that we didn't, and then
Yeah.
we kind of just became shorthand for the wokeification, quote unquote, of gaming.
So there you see Kim actually use the term wokeify. They're wokifying games, which is exactly what they're doing. Everyone knows that. They are now associated with a woke agenda. So everything that they work with, every project, every game, is now going to be considered woke. And that's a pretty bad thing these days because woke games are failing
This is called voting with your wallet. I approve.
extremely hard. Just look at the last couple of weeks with Dustborn and Concord. But she also mentioned
Dustborn Concord. Oh man, those were good days.
that there's 80 games they've been a part of, which just tells people, oh, you got to do more research and find these other connections. But anyways, she mentions this fodder. You're giving people fodder. Well, yes, you can get fodder about Sweet Baby just by going to their website, and you can see titles that have had a interesting relationship with Sweet Baby, like Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, who once was proudly displayed on the front page of their announced projects back in February, early February, when this game was released. However, it has been since removed. And this kind of begs the question, who did the removal here? Was it Sweet Baby removing themselves, or removing it themselves because they didn't want to be associated with this absolute
No, obviously it wasn't them.
bomb that was Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League? Or did Rocksteady approach them and say, please remove us because everyone's criticizing Sweet Baby and the people they're collaborating with? It's going to hurt our sales even further. Please remove us
I mean, Suicide Squad didn't need help in doing that.
from your website. We won't know the answer, but it's both a bad look for Sweet Baby, and this was something that used to be proudly displayed. I mean, you can see the former developer from Rocksteady here openly and publicly sharing that Kim was a part of molding some of the characters in the game, and now they're trying everything in their power to denounce the connection to Sweet Baby. And let's just talk again about the CEO, okay? She is famous for this quote right here.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years,
A classic.
put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for
Because no one sees the value in this. This is why she has a play for this, because no one sees a value in this.
research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Yeah, this is a quote that's always going to be attached to her name. Basically, approach your bosses and scare them with the threat of cancel culture if they don't work with people like Sweet Baby. Now, here is what the fear of cancel culture looks like. This is Rocksteady's official Twitter account. And no,
Damn.
this was not taken during Pride Month. This was taken during
Yeah, I imagine this is just how they look constantly, because of course they do. Oh, by the way, you can't see the hashtags. There you go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
September of 2024. This is what their account looks like. Are you selling me games or a political agenda? It's literally ridiculous that an account would look like this for a company that people look to buy games from. That's all. They don't want a political agenda. No one cares. Do it on your own personal accounts and not on the official account.
To be fair, inserting politics in games is fine, but this is the not even the wrong kind of politics, honestly. It's just done in such a horrible fashion, okay? if a game is relatable because it has something that's currently happening in the world or whatever, that's fine. But as long as you pick for the player which side of the argument is right, correct, and that they should support it or they're a bad man, that obviously instantaneously ruins everything. Having politics in games is completely fine, honestly. It's just the fact that these companies, these woke shit stains, they're the ones who are doing it constantly, and yeah, that just gives it a bad name. Having some politics in the game is fine as long as you don't go overboard.
Of your business. It is literally the burgers meme. They are
This is such a good one. This is one of my favorites, honestly. Hello, our newest ad campaign. Behold, our newest ad campaign. Tasty. Are you sure this will help us sell more burgers? Burgers? Dude, everyone in marketing deserves the rope.
literally the burgers meme.
Dude, and I have hated marketing since I actually worked a real job, okay? Listen, dude, this is how bad marketing is, and this is not even woke marketing, this is just the people in marketing in general, okay? Listen. So, there was this campaign, and there was obviously a sales target needed to be hit. And the first week sales were in, and I was talking with the marketing because we were working with them. And I'm like, well, the sales are now 50% of expected. And the marketing's like, is that good? You can't make this up. 50% down from anticipated sales? Whoa, is that good? I had to turn it into a good news thing. As I typically do, because lying with numbers is extremely easy when you get the hang of it. That's what you call being a business analyst. The board was pretty happy with our fucking ridiculously shittier sales because it was good. Don't worry about it.
It's actually mind-blowing. But anyways, it's been recently announced that Rocksteady is going to do a big round of layoffs because of the poor performance of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And as always, it looks like the executives won't be touched by any of this. But that's pretty standard these days, unfortunately.
Ashley, how can game...
Good. The executives don't deserve blame for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League because the game at a core level is garbage and no executive told them to make such garbage, okay? That's on the developers. The poor shooting, the poor story, the poor gameplay, the bad designs, everything, that's on the developers, not the people at top. They don't even know what a pickup item is.
Gamers discern the difference when it comes to consuming mis or disinformation around people and companies when it comes to Gamergate. How can people discern the two?
So what you want to do is you always want to consider your source. You can get your opinions, you can get your hot takes, you can get your video game reviews from wherever you want, I don't care. But when you are consuming news, like what is happening in the gaming world, consider your source and always consider reliable sources. Your reliable sources are going to be...
All of these women just look unhappy. But that's to be expected.
Like your big, tentpole legacy media kind of places. I work for The Verge, which is a vertical of Vox Media. There's Polygon, there's IGN, there's GameSpot, there's all these different legacy video game websites that have been around for a very long time that have a vested interest in making sure that the things that they share with you, the things that they write, are up to journalistic standards.
So right there you just heard from Ash Parrish. She is a reporter at The Verge, and she goes on to talk about how we need to look at reliable sources. Gamers are not getting these reliable sources, and then she provides various reliable sources according to her. But let's begin with her, right? So she was one of the initial journalists to cover the ongoing Gamergate situation back in February and March when people were criticizing Sweet Baby Inc. And in her coverage, her very biased coverage, she doesn't even mention how all of that started. She didn't even mention the harassment and reporting campaign started by Chris Kindred, the employee at Sweet Baby Inc. It's not even mentioned at all. It's critically important for context as to why all this happened.
Like that matters.
But it was intentionally left out because it would make her friends in the industry look bad. And again, she also labeled another reliable source as IGN. IGN, who's been under fire the last couple of months for their various hit pieces on Game Science, the development team behind Black Myth Wukong, where they made an article using mistranslations to try to paint the developers as sexist. And of course, that unreliable source.
A black woman attacking Asians. Where have I heard this story before?
Is used by Ash Parrish in her recent article about Black Myth Wukong, where she calls the game mediocre. And in that same article, she would, of course, cite those IGN hit pieces on Game Science. Not surprising at all, but that's the kind of reliable sources we deal with in games journalism.
Well, to be fair, that's all journalism. Someone says something, then another outlet picks it up and they quote them as a source, and there you go. It's now true because the quote of the quote is true. Said no one.
Go ahead.
And I will say, as loud and as demoralizing and as, messed up as this whole thing is, this is actually a really, 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 really small part of gaming as a whole.
Yes.
It's a very terminally online problem.
Yes,
if you are not
queen.
terminally online and you are a gamer, if you're even your average gamer, your most average gamer, which is probably like a 13-year-old boy or girl who plays Roblox, they have no idea this is going on. Even the
She probably doesn't want to know what your average 13-year-old Roblox player would tell her in a voice chat, okay?
grown adults who pay money, who buy their like one game a year, they have no idea what's going on. Even if they are online, this is just something that does not affect the regular rank and file gamer. So I don't want people to think that this is like a common problem or this is a big problem or like people.
Okay, queen, you literally do you. Anyway, that was Revs is this, so bye!